Right, a review of the semi-finals, and I've been proven wrong. I've been proven wrong by the Netherlands. I predicted Belgium to go through. However, I was expecting a very close game, and I shouldn't be surprised at all. These two teams are very closely matched on the pitch, off the pitch, in terms of their coaching staff, in terms of their penalty corner specialists, their defensive structure, their type of play, their tactics. But Belgium probably feel like they have been robbed, or not robbed, but that they perhaps should have gone through. Of course, the first half 0-0. Belgium perhaps were the better team. They created slightly more. They had slightly more dangerous opportunities, and perhaps feel like they should have scored or could have scored. But the second started really well for Belgium. Obviously, the Kepler with the goal after a terrible giveaway by Schuurman gets it to Bocard. Bocard with a beautiful pass to the Kepler, who's been left alone in the D, obviously, as the Netherlands thought they were on the counter-attack. It happens, those giveaways, it'll happen to Schuurman now, it'll happen to him again, it'll happen to everyone. Just unfortunate that it happened in this game, or maybe fortunate, as it didn't end up costing the Netherlands. But from there on, Belgium really looked like they were the better team. They were 1-0 up. The Netherlands had to push forward, and push forward they did. But defensively, Belgium were very good. Netherlands with a good few chances here and there. Van Asch with good saves. Penalty corners weren't really good for the Netherlands, but it has been a talking point that the penalty corner spots doesn't look great. There's lots of bounces in the D. There's lots of missed traps or penalty corners that are trapped, but they end up bouncing still. So there's a few problems with the pitch apparently. But then again, it's the same for every team. And early in the fourth quarter, Belgium probably should have scored a second. I don't exactly remember what happened there. I have notes here, but I didn't write them in great detail, obviously, because I am not doing a game analysis yet, and because I was watching the game closely. But the Netherlands end up equalizing. Sorry, I was interrupted there. So, as I was saying, the Netherlands end up equalizing with Van As, who dispossesses Dokier near his own D, gets the ball to Brinkman. Brinkman with a quick give and go to Belgium. As I stated in the preview, as I stated in the previous video regarding Belgium, quick give and go hockey, one touch hockey, that's how you get Belgium. Xavi Van As controls the ball well from Brinkman's pass, finishes it, and it looks easy, but it really was hard to pull off, especially with the goalkeeper like Van Asch protecting his net. And right after that, Hendricks with a penalty corner converts it. It took a little deflection, but you take it. A goal is a goal. And from there on out, really, the Netherlands pushed even more and more. And it perhaps was a smart move by Caldas not pulling Black too early, because obviously if they concede from that position, then it's done. It's completely done. Whereas with 7 minutes to go, you could still create a good few opportunities. You maybe look for a penalty corner. And that's exactly what they did. They looked for the penalty corner. Janssen got the penalty corner, converts it. And on the shootouts, it really was a weird shootout. Lots of referrals, lots of misses. Van BEL missing. I didn't expect to see that on a shootout. But Belgium loses it, on the shootout. Perhaps very unfortunate to do so. Korn with an excellent backhand to score the goal, to propel the Netherlands to the finals, where they will face Germany, to which I'll get on just after this small break. Okay, back from the interruption. There was lots of noise outside. Sorry for that if you heard it before I interrupted the video. So, Germany, England. Germany probably the deserved winners. I've got a few notes here as well. England will feel that they perhaps could have done more. They definitely will feel that. Obviously, on Nicholas Wellen's goal, a terrible giveaway by Brendan Creed. When they were a man up, that's a perfect opportunity to score, but Wellen with the perfect press, or Wellen rather, with the perfect press, dispossesses Creed, or rather intercepts a bad pass. He's in alone on goal. Excellent finish. And at that point, it was 2-1 when he intercepted the ball. It ends up being 3-1. Sam Ward obviously getting the goal back late. But you have to wonder, what if that doesn't happen? What if that pass doesn't get intercepted? Does England go on to score, and is it 2-2? Does England perhaps not score, but they at least don't concede either? It's 2-1 going into the last minutes of the game, where England were really pushing, and they were pushing well. They looked like they were going to get that goal, and they indeed did with 1:44. if the game is 2-1, do they pull it back to 2-2 and maybe earlier on and then end up winning? Maybe they pull it back to 2-2 late on and it goes to shootouts where it's a lottery. I don't know. Germany have been very smart though. They realized that with Windfeder, the penalty corners haven't been going in, partly through a fault of his own, that he just hasn't been drag flicking well. Lots of them have been going straight down the middle, right to the keeper's feet. Hene has come in as the first penalty corner drag flicker now, and he's done well. He's converted this game, he's converted in the previous game, and it's something that Germany has done well, is adapting to any situation. They've done it against the Netherlands in their group stages. They adapted when they were down. They changed formation. They played the better players, so to speak, more. They benched the players who perhaps would have had less offensive impact, and it ended up working in their favor. They got that victory, or rather the draw, from the jaws of defeat. They kept their cool here as well. They adapted with Hene on the penalty corner, Zwicker as well on the rebound for the second goal on the penalty corner. So they're really working those penalty corners, and it's something going into the game with the Netherlands, but I won't discuss it too much because I'll have a preview coming tomorrow that they will continue to do, and that they definitely need to keep in the back of their mind that the game isn't lost in the first half hour. It certainly isn't won either, but if you're down, you can still modify the formation, modify the personnel, obviously on who's playing more, who's playing less, who's playing where. And yeah, this, going back to England, it feels like it could have been their year. I'm slightly sad for England. I'm not necessarily a fan of England per se. It's not that I root for England above everyone or anyone else. I don't necessarily root for anyone above anyone else. Perhaps Australia, just because as a kid, Jamie Dwyer, Chris Sorrell, Mark Knowles played for them, so obviously I have an affinity for them. But I don't really care personally. I don't have a stake in who goes to the final, who doesn't. It would have been nice to have seen England go to the final. However, the ultimate underdog in the semi-finals, you have the three giants, and England would have been a great story going to the finals. And in the finals, anything can happen. Of course, it's a one-off game. And Dixon converted 3 minutes after Hene's penalty corner on a penalty corner of his own. And it felt like England were in this game to win it. And they played really well. There's not really anyone that you can lay the blame on. You can't even lay the blame on Brendan Creed. As I said with Schuurman, those mistakes happen. He'll do them again. Anyone will do them at some point throughout their career. And for him, it ended up costing England. It's just very, very unfortunate. However, England have shown this tournament especially that whatever they are doing is working. Ollie Payne in goal is the undisputed number one. Zach Wallace is an absolute gem of a player for them. Going into the Olympics, they'll have Rupert Chipley, Jacob Draper, and Alan Forsyth join them as well. Obviously, they're Scottish and Welsh, so they're not playing for England now. But those are three excellent players, especially Alan Forsyth, who will come into that team as a starter, who can do, without wanting to make it sound like England are bums, because they're not. He can do more, and what he can do is better than what the English players can do. So I'm very, very much looking forward to what GB does at the Olympics. And England, as a country of their own at the next European Championships, it's a very promising sign. Those players will continue to grow and get better. They're very young, a lot of them. Some of them are getting to the mid-30s, but the experience that they now have, along with their talent and the environment that they have with Danny Gary at the helm, he certainly won't go anywhere anytime soon. It's a good team, and I'll be very curious to see what they do in the next European Championships. So tomorrow we have a preview of the final, or maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Maybe tomorrow morning. I'll have a video hopefully up today reviewing the 5th to 8th place rankings. Obviously, we had the first game today, which was Spain against France. We have Wales against Russia at 9 p.m. That's a little late to my liking, obviously, but it is what it is. I can't change anything about it. So, yet again, if you've enjoyed this video like the others, please consider liking it. Please consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll talk to you tonight or tomorrow morning. Have a good one.